Welcome to a special edition of the Coca-Cola of Kokomo Kickoff Special here on the ISC Sports Network. Now, we have done these interviews in this fashion before, dating back to the pandemic year of 3 years ago. Unfortunately, I did not connect properly in time with the longtime now head coach of the Western Panthers in Alex Stewart, who is kind enough to spend some time with us remotely as his team is already getting preparations underway for the season, which kicks off on August the 18th. Alex, it is always good to see you, even if we're not officially in person. How you doing today?
I'm doing well. How about yourself?
I'm good. And again, when we talked to everybody else at the Downtown Y a few days ago, it was obviously kind of before practice was getting underway. As you and I are having this conversation, you have 3 practices under your belts. How have they gone so far?
It's been good. It's been a great start to the year. Our kids put in a lot of work in the off season and throughout the course of the summer. We've got high expectations of them, and we've got good attendance at our summer workouts. So the first few practices have been great. Kids are working really hard. I couldn't ask for more from them.
You guys, and again, this varies school by school. Some schools are already in school by the time the first practice starts. You guys kind of start in the middle of it. So how is practice different for you before the kids officially start the school year, or is it really all that different in terms of whether they're in school or not here early in camp?
Yeah, we spend a little bit more time meeting and doing installs before practice than we do during the school year. And we spend a lot of that time also talking about character and talking about leadership. I think those are important characteristics not only of football players, but of good quality young men that we hope to send out into the community one day and be great members of our community. So we spend a lot of time talking about those things and those attributes. But the practices are fairly standard to what we would have during the school year. We might go a little bit longer, depending on the day. The IHSA rules, it depends on what you're doing each day, but we've been, practicing one time a day for the most part. And, once the school year hits, we pretty much get them right after school, and we practice for about 2 hours and we get them out of here. But, we're fortunate that a lot of our kids are in the weightlifting class during the school day, so we don't have to have a ton of kids coming in before or after school to get that done. So we're able to get going, fairly close to after school, whether it's meetings or walk through, that kind of stuff.
Alex, when you look back at last year, what are some of the things you're most proud about? Kind of memories you take from the fall of 2022? Kind of wrap up last season for me, if you would.
Well, it was a rough start. We started 0-3. We lost to 3 really, really good football teams in Tri-West, Western Boone, and West Lafayette to start off the year. But I was really proud of how our kids responded. Nobody ever, gave up. Nobody ever quit. It was never a situation where, kids were down on themselves. It was just we needed to get the ball rolling, and we were able to do that. And we went on a good run there to finish out the regular season. Got a playoff win and had a really hard fought battle against Kokomo in the sectional semifinals. They were a great program. But looking back at the group of kids we had, they put in a lot of work, and the season didn't start off well, but we ended with a winning record. We won the Hoosier Conference East Division, played for the conference championship, and played a really hard fought battle against a great Kokomo team in the sectional semifinal. Obviously, we would have liked to come out on top there, but they went on a run and ended up in the semi-state, and we're probably about 4 minutes away from playing for a state final. Playing in the state finals. But it was a good year. We had a great group of seniors last year that led the program, and it was an honor to watch Mitchell Nepley go and play in the North-South All-Star game and represent us.
I had the pleasure of calling him in that game not too many weeks ago. What is it like now? And again, obviously things are always subject to change in terms of the fluctuations in enrollments, redistricting, but knowing there's a good chance you're going to see Kokomo at some point in time early in the postseason. I realize that's still 2 or 3 months away as we're having this conversation, but knowing you've got a chance to play kind of the bigger school, the rival school now, what does that mean to your program every year?
Well, like you said, they're a great program. They're a program that, I've got a lot of respect for Austin Colby. And him and I are fairly good friends. And I think there's a mutual respect there. His father was one of my mentors when I got into this as a young head coach, and really helped to take me under his wing. So they're a program that we've got a lot of respect for. They're a tough-nosed program. They're a program that we have a lot of the same philosophies. We're going to run the ball. We're going to be, tough and physical and play hard-nosed football. And that's the style of program they are. But our sectional, the first, several of the years I've been here, we've had sectionals that our kids look and they're like, "Where's that school?" Or I've
Right.
we have people that they have no idea where we're going to play or who we just drew, because the schools are, we've been in the south half of the bracket most of the time.
Right.
And then last year when they redrew the sectionals, we were in the north side of the bracket, and a lot of the teams were teams that we had at least played in the past and teams that we were familiar with. So, I mean, our sectional, I think this year is going to be a much improved sectional. I think everybody, there's been a lot. Last year, there were several new coaches. I think there's a lot of teams that are going to be on the rise. And it's going to be a tough sectional, top to bottom, I think. But, it's something that every year, you're excited for, because, those are local teams and those are local, rivalries, so to speak. And, hopefully we can, just take steps in the right direction every day, keep getting better, and be playing our best ball going into that thing.
One more kind of big picture question. We'll kind of knuckle down on what your team's going to look like in the very near future, but certainly worth having a conversation with other schools we have as part of this program. Your league hasn't had much change lately, and it's about to. Lewis Cass has already exited the league. Northwestern's about to. Now Logansport will come in and frankly give kind of another school that is your size, kind of for you to play. Just kind of your thoughts as to how the Hoosier Conference is starting to change shape both this fall and going forward.
Well, you're seeing that pattern around the state now with a lot of conference shakeups and, people moving around. And I think a lot of that has to do with just the types of schools that you have in those conferences. You see a lot of people are, the schools that are around big cities are starting to really grow and grow and grow. And the schools that are not around big cities are really starting to shrink. And so maybe 15, 20 years ago, some of the teams that were about the same size, well, now there's a huge disparity or discrepancy in enrollment. So, I think that's kind of some of the stuff that's happened in the Hoosier Conference. We've kind of stayed about the same since I've been here. We've been around that, between 800 and 850 enrollment. But some of the other schools are really starting to go down, and they're looking to find regular season competition that's more so on their same size in terms of enrollment. And that's no different than anywhere else around the state. Logansport's coming in. They're going to be the largest school in our conference. They've been successful. They're going to add a different element to our conference. Mike Johnson's a Hall of Fame head coach and has built a good program there at Logansport, and he was great at Pioneer before that. But that just makes our conference better, in my opinion. Adding quality teams that are going to, make you better and make you have those weeks where hey, this is a tough competition every single game. And I'm not sure how the conference is going to shake up in terms of the divisions.
Right.
We've had an East and a West. I know I've heard a couple different, variants depending on what happens, because we lost 2 and we've added 1. So if we add another one, I still see us having a 2 division. But, with the way people are moving around now, who knows, we might lose another opponent. We might lose another conference person, and then maybe we're down to an 8-team conference and we just play weeks 3 through 9 in the conference and play everybody. But yeah, I think the Hoosier Conference, a few years back, I would have said, oh, everybody's locked in, nobody's leaving. And then things really started to shake up in the spring. And, I think that, once one of those dominoes starts to fall, you see other ones fall as well.
All right, let's focus on your team. You talked about how you loved your senior class last year. It's about the senior class that you have about to take the field for you coming up here in a couple of weeks.
Yeah. This year's senior group, some of these guys are guys that have, like, Declan Pleeks is going to be a 4-year starter for us. And there's another couple guys that have been 2 and 3-year starters coming back. But we've got some guys that have been either second group guys or rotation guys that were extremely hungry going into this off season. Or maybe a guy that started one way that really wants to start 2 ways. We've got some of those guys that, had a great off season. Around March, we went down to Fishers and we competed in their weightlifting meet against a lot of bigger schools, and our kids did extremely well in that weightlifting meet. We had several guys placed in the top 10. We had Cole Armstrong, who's a senior lineman. He won the bench press down there. We had a lot of guys that did really well at that meet, and that was, that's just because of their hard work and dedication, not only this off season, but for 4 years. This group is a group that, I think they've kind of been under the radar, and, their guys, because the last year's senior group was a bigger class, and there was a lot of 3 and 4-year starters in that class, particularly a lot of 3-year starters in that class. So some of these guys have waited their turn, and they're ready to step into that leadership role.
First, I got to ask, all right, how did Cole win? How much did he bench? What was it, reps? Was it one big lift? How did he win the bench press competition?
So the way they did the bench press is a coefficient based on your body weight. I believe Cole weighed in at like 249 and benched 335.
Okay.
He has he attempted 350 at the meet and just missed it. But he's hit 375 here I think at the end of the spring, or maybe this early in the summer, he hit 375. But yeah, he's a big, strong kid. He's coming back. He started a little bit for us as a sophomore. He plays our right tackle for us on offense, which that's our power side tackle in our single wing offense, and we run behind him a lot, and we're counting on him to be a guy on both sides of the ball. We've got a lot of guys that I think are big, strong athletes that particularly up front. We've got some guys coming back that with Cole, we've got Tate Heston, who's a 3-year starter. He'll be an offensive and defensive lineman. Brock Frazier was first team all conference for us last year. He played offensive line about half the year last year. We moved him around a little bit. He started off as a tight end, and we've got him back at tight end this year. And he plays outside linebacker, defensive end on defense. Garrett Hetty started several games for us last year at center. He's back. And then we've got a couple other seniors that are going to be key contributors. Matthew Sipes as an offensive and defensive lineman. Ashton Justice as an offensive and defensive lineman. He started for us last year, started a couple games as a sophomore. And then Jaden Truong, he just in the spring set our school squat record. He dealt with an injury a lot of last year, but has come back strong, and we look for him to have a big year as well.
I was going to say, given you were competitive with Kokomo, who reached the semi-state, talking about winning the Eastern Division, my guess would be you've set some goals in terms of some regular season championships and postseason championships. Final thing before we let you go, just what's going to make this a good year for your team, Alex?
Obviously everybody wants to win championships, and everybody wants to be playing, late in November, and everybody wants to go on a run. Everybody wants to end the season holding a trophy, and ideally it's a trophy shaped like Indiana. But I think for us to be successful, our senior class has to step up and really step into that leadership role that they've been waiting to take on the last 3 years. My best season, record wise since I've been here was 2020. And that senior group took charge of the team and took charge of the program, and everybody looked up to them. I think we've got kids that have that ability. And it's starting to show through here in the early part of the season that some of those guys are really starting to step up and understand, like, hey, it's my time. It's my turn to be the leader of this program, and it's my turn. And those guys want something they've never had. They've never never made a deep run before, and they've never, played. Well, last year was the first time they'd won a postseason game, and that was fun for those guys, and it was fun, to keep playing beyond week 10, and they want that again, and they want to make a deeper run this season. But obviously everybody needs luck. Everybody needs to stay healthy. I think we've got some depth at some key positions, which is always beneficial. But we've got some guys that are going to play both ways as well. And I think for us to have a great year, really it all starts with leadership.
Alex, as always, appreciate our conversation. Thanks for going the extra mile to make sure that this interview happened today. Best luck you and the Panthers this coming season.
Thank you. I appreciate it.